93-year-old doctor reveals the miracle drink that wipes out high cholesterol. 93 years old. 0 meds. 1 glass a day. He walks every single day. Still sees patients. Reads without glasses. And when people ask him what his secret is, he doesn't say genetics. He talks about routine. About choices. About a quiet drink. A formula so simple it feels obvious. So powerful it feels like magic. But before revealing the recipe, he makes one condition. You need to understand why it works. Throughout this conversation, you're going to see cholesterol in a whole new way. You'll find out what really makes it dangerous. And you'll learn how to prepare your body to flush it out naturally. All this with ingredients you probably already have at home. No extreme diets. No empty promises. No shortcuts. Just science, consistency, and the wisdom of someone who lives what he teaches. You're about to dive into an episode that doesn't hand out ready-made answers. It gives you something far more valuable, awareness. So welcome to another episode of 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙘𝙤, where you'll discover the miracle drink that wipes out high cholesterol. And more than that, you'll get firsthand essential answers for maintaining your health from one of the most respected doctors around. Dr. Haruki Tanaka doesn't look 93. His voice is steady, his posture straight, and there's a calm vibe in the way he speaks that spreads to everyone around. But what's even more impressive than how he looks is his story. More than 7 decades practicing medicine, caring for generations of patients with a simple, direct, and shockingly effective approach. And today, he's here to share something precious. Something he himself drinks every single day.
Medicine has changed a lot since I started, but some truths remain. Health isn't built on miracles, but on consistency. I never believed in magic pills. What really works is paying attention to the body, understanding its signals, and supporting its natural processes. What I'm going to share here comes from years of practice, and from something I use myself every day.
And the curious thing is this: at 93 years old, you're still practicing medicine, still seeing patients. You walk every day, eat with pleasure, sleep well, and live with clarity. And the question everyone's probably asking right now is, what does this man do that's so different? What's the secret? And yes, there's a drink involved in this story. A drink he treats like a ritual, not some empty promise.
This drink isn't magic, but it has a very powerful logic. It works on key points of metabolism, helps the liver, modulates bile, lowers LDL cholesterol and triglycerides. But before I tell you what's in that glass, it's important to understand why it works so well. The secret lies in the pillars, in the fundamentals.
And that's where the beauty of this conversation begins. There's no point in revealing a recipe if your body isn't ready to actually take advantage of it. That's why, in this episode, we'll explore, step by step, the elements that turn a simple drink into a daily ally for your heart health. Because the body responds much better when it's prepared.
Exactly. The human body is like an orchestra. If you want the melody to come out harmonious, you have to tune each instrument. The gut, the liver, the blood, they all need to be in balance. And that's what we're going to build together throughout this episode.
So here's the invitation. Stay with us until the end. Because besides learning about the real villains of cholesterol, the habits that silently raise your risks, you're going to discover how a simple routine can totally change your test results. And of course, you'll finally meet Dr. Tanaka's famous drink.
But before that, let's talk about cholesterol. Without fear. No panic. No exaggeration. Let's understand the real enemy, because not all cholesterol is bad. And that's the next step in our journey.
The word cholesterol usually shows up with a side of fear. But here's the thing. If you ask most people what cholesterol actually is, they freeze up. Is cholesterol itself the problem, or is it what happens to it inside the body? That's what Dr. Tanaka helps us understand now. Calmly, with clarity, no panic.
Cholesterol is an essential substance. It's in every single cell membrane, helps produce hormones, vitamin D, even bile. The danger isn't that it exists, it's how it circulates and changes in the blood. And that's tied directly to inflammation and lifestyle.
So when people talk about good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, we're really talking about carriers, right? HDL being the good guy, and LDL the bad guy? Or is that too much of an oversimplification?
It's a useful oversimplification, but it's not complete. LDL isn't bad on its own. It delivers cholesterol to the cells. The problem begins when that LDL gets oxidized. That's when it becomes dangerous, because it triggers an inflammatory reaction in the blood vessels. And it's that oxidation we need to prevent.
And what's the biggest factor in that oxidation? Because plenty of people have high LDL, but don't necessarily develop problems. What's the tipping point?
Chronic inflammation, high blood sugar, and a sedentary lifestyle create the perfect storm for LDL oxidation. It's like leaving cooking oil out in the sun. It breaks down. With cholesterol, it's similar. If your body's environment is inflamed, LDL becomes an easy target. That's when it piles up where it shouldn't.
So it's not just about lowering the number on your test, it's about improving the internal environment. Getting your body ready so LDL doesn't turn into the bad guy. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. And that's why small changes make a huge difference. Sleeping better, cutting down on sugar, moving your body after meals. These daily tweaks reduce oxidation and improve how HDL works, cleaning up the excess. And all of this sets the stage for the drink we'll reveal later on.
And that totally changes the way we see cholesterol. Not as some static enemy, but as something dynamic, shaped by our daily choices. That's powerful. And now that we've shifted our perspective, I think the next step is to understand what to do first thing in the morning.
Yes, because how you start your day changes everything. The liver, bile, digestion, they all respond to what you do in those first hours. So let's talk about this anti-cholesterol ritual that can make a huge difference.
One of the most interesting things Dr. Tanaka teaches is that the body has schedules, and the start of the day is a decisive moment. Right in the early morning, the body kicks off a bunch of processes, and how you act can either boost them or block them. So let's dig into how to start off right.
The body wakes up before the mind. When we open our eyes, the liver is already at work, metabolism is adjusting, and bile, essential for digesting fats and clearing cholesterol, starts flowing. But it needs the right triggers: breathing, natural light, and hydration. Those are the first notes of the metabolic orchestra.
And you recommend a little morning ritual, right? Something simple, but really helpful for this internal wake-up. I've tried it, and honestly, it's a great way to start the day. Tell us how this first practice works.
Yes. I suggest that right after waking up, you drink a glass of warm water with 2 or 3 lemon slices, some thin slices of fresh ginger, and a pinch of cinnamon. This infusion stimulates the liver, warms up the digestive system, and sends a clear signal to the body. Time to switch on.
And the cool thing is, we're not even talking about the miracle drink yet. This is just prep. But you already feel an impact: lightness, better digestion, more energy. And what struck me most was the way to drink it, slowly on an empty stomach before breakfast.
Exactly. Drink it in small sips, paying attention to your body. That moment of pause activates the parasympathetic system, the rest and digest mode. It's simple, cheap, accessible, but powerful. In patients who adopt this habit, appetite stabilizes, digestion improves, and inflammatory markers drop.
And of course, this doesn't replace a good breakfast, but it works like an internal alarm clock. Like you say, the body is wise, but it needs a green light. And this morning infusion, besides being delicious, is exactly that: natural, gentle, effective.
Yes, it's a way to care for the body without stressing it out. The idea is to build health with small rituals. And everything we've talked about so far adds up, creating the right environment for the drink we'll reveal later. But before that, there's another essential ally: moving after meals.
The classic walk after eating, right? An old habit that science now fully backs up. And in the next chapter, we'll find out why 12 minutes of walking after lunch or dinner can be more valuable than a lot of medications. There's something ancient about walking after a meal. Our grandparents used to do it without knowing why, just following instinct. But today, science confirms it. Walking for 10 to 15 minutes after eating can reduce glucose spikes, protect the arteries, and help the body handle cholesterol better.
That's true. I usually say this is one of the simplest and most neglected habits in modern medicine. When we walk after eating, the body uses glucose more efficiently, the liver works better, and triglycerides have less chance of building up. It's like sweeping the kitchen before the dirt hardens.
That metaphor is perfect, and it applies to everyone, right? It doesn't have to be an intense or long walk. The idea isn't to burn calories, but to signal to the body that it can process what it just received in a better way. It's more about rhythm than intensity.
Exactly. A light walk, at a pace where you can still hold a conversation without effort, is enough. What matters is consistency. After lunch or dinner every day, for at least 12 minutes. No need for a gym or special clothes. Just get up and move a little.
And have you seen clinical results just from this habit? Because a lot of people doubt that something so simple could really impact blood tests, especially triglycerides and LDL cholesterol.
I've seen plenty. Patients who stuck to a diet but were sedentary often showed high levels of glucose and lipids. After they started walking after meals, their test results began to improve without any other changes. It's a subtle intervention, but the body responds with gratitude.
And what about people who don't have much time? Or those living in cold and rainy places? Is there a practical alternative that still keeps the benefit?
If you can't go outside, walking around the house for a few minutes, going up and down stairs, or doing light body movements already helps. The key is muscle activation. Any movement after a meal is better than sitting or lying down right away.
Perfect. And if we put everything together so far, the morning infusion, reducing oxidation, and the post-meal walk, we've already built a powerful base. So what about breakfast? Is there something specific we can do at that time to already start regulating cholesterol?
Yes. Breakfast is a golden opportunity. And if it includes a specific type of soluble fiber, the effect on cholesterol can go even deeper. We'll talk about that in the next chapter.
A lot of people still underestimate the impact of breakfast on cardiovascular health. But Dr. Tanaka insists that this first meal can be a powerful ally against high cholesterol, especially if it's rich in a specific type of fiber, soluble fiber. So let's understand why it makes such a difference.
Soluble fiber has a unique ability. When eaten, it forms a viscous gel in the gut that binds to bile acids, which are made from cholesterol, and carries them out of the body. That forces the liver to use more cholesterol to produce new bile acids. The result? LDL levels start to drop naturally.
And you usually recommend a functional smoothie in the morning, right? Something practical, tasty, and that delivers this soluble fiber in the very first hours of the day. What's interesting is that it's not the miracle drink of this episode, but it sets the stage for it to work even better.
Exactly. It's a simple but functional drink. Just blend 250 milliliters of water or plant-based milk with 1 or 2 tablespoons of fine oats, half an apple with peel, a tablespoon of chia seeds, and a pinch of cinnamon. Ideally, drink it right away, without letting it sit. That activates the fiber and prevents oxidation.
I tried that smoothie, and the flavor is surprisingly light. And what stood out to me was the satiety. I didn't feel hungry for hours. That has to do with the fiber itself, right?
Yes. Soluble fiber slows gastric emptying and stabilizes glucose levels, which prevents spikes and crashes in energy. It feeds the gut, regulates appetite, and helps the body get rid of cholesterol naturally. It's a breakfast that nourishes and heals at the same time.
And for those who don't like smoothies, is there an alternative? Because there are always people who prefer something more solid or warm in the morning.
Of course. The same recipe can be made into porridge, heating the ingredients with plant-based milk until it reaches a creamy texture. What matters is keeping the soluble fiber active, along with the apple, oats, and chia. The variation can be adapted to personal taste.
So up to now, the foundation is solid. Waking up well, walking after meals, and adding soluble fiber in the morning. And now we move to another key point, how to protect cholesterol from oxidation throughout the day, with a light, antioxidant-rich drink.
Yes. Now let's talk about the ideal afternoon tea to protect your arteries and modulate LDL, using the power of polyphenol. It's a simple habit with deep effects.
The afternoon arrives, the body's already gone through 2 meals, and metabolism is still at work. This is the perfect time to take care of oxidation, that silent process that turns cholesterol into a threat. And Dr. Tanaka has a delicious proposal for that, an antioxidant tea that naturally protects the arteries.
As we said, LDL only really becomes dangerous when it oxidizes, and that happens in inflammatory environments with excess free radicals. Polyphenol, antioxidant compounds found in certain plants, act like a shield, preventing cholesterol from turning into the bad guy. The secret is in the right combination.
And you came up with a really interesting blend: hibiscus, green tea, dried orange peel, and cinnamon stick. I was honestly surprised by the aroma and the deep color of this tea. But what impressed me most was the effect, a sense of lightness and mental clarity. Does that have an explanation too?
Yes, it does. Hibiscus helps with blood pressure. Green tea brings antioxidant catechins. Orange peel adds citrus flavonoids. And cinnamon has anti-inflammatory action. This synergy supports circulation, fights oxidation, and even improves insulin sensitivity, all with a natural and pleasant taste.
And how exactly should this tea be prepared? Because many people mess up the infusion, leaving it too long or sweetening it unnecessarily. You're usually pretty specific about this.
Yes. The ideal infusion is made with 1 tablespoon of dried hibiscus, 1 teaspoon of green tea, 1 strip of dried orange peel, and a small piece of cinnamon stick in 300 milliliters of hot water. Let it sit for 5 to 7 minutes, strain it, and drink it while still warm. No sweeteners.
And can it be consumed daily? Is there a best time of day or any contraindications we should mention?
It can be taken daily, preferably between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Just avoid it if you have very low blood pressure or are on blood-thinning medications. Always best to check with your doctor. But for most people, it's a safe and extremely beneficial habit.
And what's most fascinating is seeing how everything starts to connect. In the morning, we activate metabolism with infusion and fiber. After meals, we walk. In the afternoon, we protect LDL with antioxidants. And now we're moving into the realm of inflammation and how to fight it with a warm, nighttime, soothing drink.
Yes, chronic inflammation is the backdrop of almost all modern diseases. And fortunately, there are spices we can use at night to protect our arteries and calm the body. We'll talk about that in the next chapter.
We've reached the end of the day, and the body asks to slow down. But it's also the perfect moment for one last act of care. Dr. Tanaka suggests a nighttime drink that soothes, warms, and at the same time helps fight chronic inflammation, one of the main factors behind LDL cholesterol oxidation.
Low-grade, silent inflammation is present in many cases of high cholesterol, insulin resistance, and high blood pressure. One of the most studied substances in this context is curcumin, the active compound in turmeric. It has a powerful anti-inflammatory effect, especially when combined with black pepper, which boosts its absorption.
And you recommend a golden drink made with turmeric, pepper, and warm plant-based milk. I tried it before bed, and besides a striking flavor, I felt a surprisingly calming effect. A sort of inner comfort, almost as if my body knew it was being cared for.
This drink, which many call golden milk, is an ancient tradition in several cultures. The version I recommend is made with 200 to 250 milliliters of almond or oat milk, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a pinch of ground black pepper, and if you'd like, a pinch of nutmeg. Heat it up, but don't let it boil.
And what's the best time to drink it? Before bed? After dinner? Is there a specific guideline about timing and frequency?
I suggest drinking it 1 to 2 hours before bed, on alternating days or 5 times a week. Besides its anti-inflammatory effect, this drink improves sleep quality and regulates appetite. A well-rested body oxidizes less and responds better to the next day's stimuli.
And some people add honey or natural sweeteners, but you usually recommend moderation, right? because even small amounts of sugar can interfere with inflammation.
Exactly. The ideal is to keep the drink pure, without honey, sugar, or sweeteners. Over time, your taste adjusts. Cinnamon and nutmeg already bring naturally sweet notes. It's a moment to reconnect with your body, and flavor is part of that experience.
This drink closes the day like a gentle goodbye to the body for all the work it did. And so, we build a routine that protects the arteries at different moments. Now, in the next chapter, we'll hear an inspiring story from a patient who changed his test results with small daily gestures.
Yes, and it's a case that shows how consistency, more than intensity, is what really transforms health over time. Let's hear it.
It's very common for people to think that only radical changes have an effect on cholesterol. But the case Dr. Tanaka is going to share now shows exactly the opposite. An older patient with decades of bad habits managed to get amazing results just by adjusting 3 simple points in his routine. Let's hear his story.
Yes, he's 71 now. When he first came to me, his LDL was high, triglycerides above the ideal range, and he was very fatigued. Instead of immediately prescribing medication, I suggested 3 small changes: cutting out frequent fried foods, walking for 15 minutes after dinner, and adding a functional seed-based water. He agreed to try it for 30 days.
That's interesting. No restrictive diet, no crazy plan. Just specific adjustments. And what caught my attention most is this functional water. Can you explain how he added it to his routine?
Of course. I suggested he soak 1 tablespoon of whole golden flaxseed in 300 milliliters of water overnight. In the morning, he strained it and drank it on an empty stomach. This water takes on a slightly viscous texture from the soluble fiber the seeds release. That very fiber helps capture bile acids and regulate LDL.
And you tracked his test results over time. What was the real impact, clinically speaking? Because a lot of people only believe it when they see the numbers change.
After 30 days, triglycerides dropped by 22% and LDL by 16%. But more than the numbers, what impressed me was how he felt. Lighter, with better digestion, deeper sleep. Everything showed that his body was responding. And this was without any medication at that point.
That's a powerful message, because it shows that many times the body doesn't need aggressive intervention. It needs support, consistency, and intelligence. And even something as simple as flaxseed water can be more effective than you'd imagine.
Yes. The secret is understanding what the body needs and giving it consistently. The soluble fiber from flaxseed, combined with movement after dinner, created the perfect environment for metabolism to rebalance. The patient felt the effects even before he saw them on paper.
And that sets us up for the next story. Because some people, in addition to flaxseed water, also adopt another interesting tool, psyllium, which acts directly on fat absorption and bowel movement.
Yes, psyllium is a practical and powerful ally, especially when used properly. In the next chapter, I'll tell you how it transformed another patient's health.
If there's one word that defines Dr. Tanaka's work, it's pragmatism. No crazy formulas or complicated theories. He looks for practical solutions tested in the daily lives of his patients. And one of them is psyllium, a soluble fiber that played a key role in the case of a patient who urgently needed results.
This patient was 64, a former smoker, with a family history of heart attack. His total cholesterol was high, and his bowel movements were slow, which made fat reabsorption worse. What we did was simple. We added psyllium before his main meal of the day. A small step, but with huge impact.
And how exactly was it used? Because a lot of people hear about psyllium, but don't know how to take it properly. And you always stress that preparation makes all the difference in its effects.
Yes, I recommend preparing a shot. 200 milliliters of room temperature water, 1 teaspoon of psyllium, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Stir well and drink it right away, before the fiber thickens too much. This creates a substance that sweeps the intestines and captures bile acids.
And the impact wasn't just on cholesterol, right? You mentioned that this patient also reported better sleep, less bloating, and even a sense of mental clarity. What explains this range of effects?
The gut is a regulatory hub. When it works well, everything improves: nutrient absorption, hormone balance, immunity, even mood. Psyllium doesn't just regulate bowel movements, it also supports a healthier microbiota, which reflects throughout the whole body.
And of course, psyllium requires extra attention to hydration, right? Because it's a powerful fiber, but it needs enough water to work properly.
Exactly. Whenever you use psyllium, it's essential to increase water intake throughout the day. Otherwise, there may be discomfort. But with proper guidance, the results are remarkable. And this patient, in just 2 months, lowered his LDL by 18% and improved his HDL.
That's an inspiring story. And it shows how small rituals, a glass, a walk, a food choice, add up to powerful effects over time. But now, let's take the opposite path, looking at the saboteurs that get in the way of all this.
Yes, because there's no point in adding good habits if you keep the ones that silently push you the other way. And many of these saboteurs are invisible in daily life.
We spend so much time looking for solutions that sometimes we forget to notice what's silently sabotaging our efforts. And Dr. Tanaka always warns about this. There are invisible enemies in modern life, foods disguised as healthy, automatic habits, convenient choices that come at a high cost for arterial health.
Exactly. It's very common for patients to say, "But I eat very little cholesterol," and still, their test results are altered. The problem isn't just cholesterol intake, but ultra-processed foods, hidden sugars, and artificial fats that inflame the body and oxidize LDL. Those are the real villains.
And many of them are hidden in things that seem harmless: packaged juices, flavored coffees, cereal bars. All wrapped in colorful labels with healthy promises, but ingredient lists that read like a soap opera script. And as you usually say, if the label reads like a paragraph, your heart doesn't need that chapter.
Laughs. That's right. The more ingredients you don't recognize, the further you are from health. Ingredients like hydrogenated vegetable oils, glucose syrups, thickeners, artificial flavorings, all of them inflame silently. The effect isn't instant, but constant. And that's what worries us.
And what do you recommend to escape these traps? Because not everyone has time to cook or easy access to fresh food all the time. Is there a practical principle?
Yes. Stick to real food. If you can cook, keep it simple. If you need to buy something ready-made, pick the one with the fewest ingredients, or ingredients you'd use at home. And replace processed products with natural alternatives we've already discussed here. Teas, infusions, smoothies, pure fibers.
It's like rebuilding your taste buds, right? Removing excess stimulation, salt, sugar, fat, and rediscovering the flavor of real food. And the interesting thing is, after a while, your body doesn't even miss what used to harm it. On the contrary, it rejects it.
The body is wise and adaptable. In just a few days, you start feeling more energy, less bloating, deeper sleep. It's like lifting an invisible weight off the body. And when those saboteurs are removed, the effectiveness of the drink we're about to reveal multiplies.
So, before adding, we need to clear the ground. Now we're finally ready to dive into the foundations of Dr. Tanaka's formula. In the next chapter, we'll explore the 3 clues that make up the base of the miracle drink.
That's right. Because before I reveal the full recipe, I want you to understand why each ingredient is there, and what it does inside your body.
We've reached the moment many listeners were waiting for, but with a bit of suspense still. Because Dr. Tanaka believes that only by understanding the why behind each ingredient can we use the drink with awareness, consistency, and confidence. So now, he'll share the 3 key clues to this much-talked-about formula.
Exactly. The drink I use every day has 3 pillars that work together. First, a powerful source of soluble fiber, which forms a gel in the gut and reduces cholesterol reabsorption. Then, a citrus antioxidant, which protects LDL from oxidation. And finally, a touch of healthy fat, which modulates bile and supports HDL.
Let's start with soluble fiber. We've talked about it a few times here, and it comes in many forms: flaxseed, chia, psyllium. But in your drink, you usually use oats or psyllium, right? Why that choice?
Yes. Fine oats are excellent for beginners, mild flavor and rich in beta-glucan. Psyllium, on the other hand, is more concentrated and requires more water. Both work well, but the key is consistency. This fiber binds cholesterol to bile acids and carries it out in the stool.
Now about the antioxidant component, you use lemon, both juice and zest. And that caught my attention. Why include the zest? Is there something in it we usually overlook?
Most people don't know this, but lemon peel is packed with compounds called limonoids and flavonoids, like hesperidin, which have very powerful antioxidant effects. They help protect LDL cholesterol from oxidation and also reduce silent inflammation. That's why I use the whole lemon, with moderation and properly cleaned.
And then comes the touch of healthy fat. Here you offer two options, a piece of avocado or a microdose of extra virgin olive oil. And it's curious, because a lot of people still fear fat. But you always say, the right fat in the right dose saves the heart.
That's exactly it. The monounsaturated fat in avocado and olive oil helps raise HDL, the good cholesterol, and increases satiety. It also plays a role in bile production, reinforcing the cholesterol elimination cycle. And all that in a small dose, which the body appreciates.
So we've got the three clues: powerful soluble fiber, citrus antioxidants, and healthy fat. And it's the combination of these elements that gives your drink such a deep effect without being harsh. Now, in the next chapter, we'll understand exactly how this formula works in the body, explained scientifically, but in simple terms.
Yes, because when we understand the mechanism, it's much easier to trust the practice. Let's dive into that now.
Now that we know the three key components of Dr. Tanaka's drink, it's time to understand how this formula actually works inside the body. And the most fascinating thing is that, even though it seems simple, it activates deep, natural mechanisms validated by science. So, doctor, how does it all connect inside the body?
Let's start with soluble fiber. When it reaches the intestines, it turns into a viscous gel. This gel binds to bile acids, which are made from cholesterol, and prevents them from being reabsorbed. With fewer bile acids being recycled, the liver needs to produce more. And to do that, it uses the cholesterol that's circulating, reducing LDL.
So it's like forcing the body to burn through the extra cholesterol in the blood, right? But in a gentle, natural way, without aggression. And then comes the second element of the equation, citrus antioxidants. What role do they play in this picture?
These compounds, like the flavonoids in lemon, act by neutralizing free radicals, which are the main culprits behind LDL oxidation. It's that oxidation that makes LDL dangerous, inflammatory, and plaque-forming. Protecting it is essential. Lemon antioxidants are especially effective in that task.
And when we add healthy fat to the mix, we get a third complementary effect. Because besides increasing satiety, the fat from avocado or olive oil helps stimulate bile production. And bile, as we've seen, is the main channel through which the body excretes cholesterol.
Exactly. On top of that, monounsaturated fats also help raise HDL, the good cholesterol, which collects excess cholesterol from the arteries and brings it back to the liver. In other words, what we have here is a formula that lowers LDL, protects it from oxidation, stimulates excretion, and improves HDL.
And you always emphasize something important. This isn't a miracle, it's consistency. It's no use drinking it for 2 days and expecting transformed lab results. But with daily use and complementary changes, the results are real and measurable.
Yes, I recommend continuous use for at least 4 to 6 weeks, with gradual increases in fiber, proper water intake, and overall attention to diet. It's a daily glass of care that, over time, reshapes the metabolic landscape.
So now, yes, after understanding the why, the how, and the effects, we're ready to learn the complete recipe. In the next chapter, you'll discover Dr. Haruki Tanaka's miracle drink, with ingredients, preparation, and practical guidelines.
This is the most anticipated moment, and my mission is for it to be simple, tasty, and effective, because at 93, I still stick with what really works.
Finally, the most awaited moment of the episode. After preparing the body, clearing the ground, understanding the pillars, now comes the complete recipe for the drink Dr. Haruki Tanaka consumes every single day. A simple, functional, and powerful blend built on science and decades of clinical practice.
This drink has been part of my daily life for many years. I drink it in the morning or before a meal. The recipe is as follows: 250 to 300 milliliters of very cold water, 1 tablespoon of fine oats, or, for beginners, 1 teaspoon of psyllium. Then I add the juice of half a lemon and a bit of zest from the peel.
And then comes the touch of healthy fat, right? You usually use avocado, but for those who don't have it, extra virgin olive oil can replace it. Is that right?
Correct. Add 1/4 of a ripe avocado or 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. To boost it even more, sometimes I add half a teaspoon of grated ginger and a pinch of cinnamon. These are optional, but they enhance both flavor and metabolic effects. And if you'd like, you can add ice.
And the preparation? Everything in the blender, quick and direct? And it must be consumed right away, correct? Because soluble fiber thickens if it sits too long.
Exactly. Blend everything for 30 to 40 seconds and drink it immediately. The texture should be light, creamy, and refreshing. If you've never used fiber before, start with half a dose for the first few days so your gut can adapt. And remember, it's essential to drink more water throughout the day.
And for those who feel the need for a little sweetness, do you allow any sweetener? Or do you recommend keeping the taste more neutral?
I prefer to keep it natural, but if it's really necessary, use only pure stevia in small amounts. Ideally, the palate should be re-educated. In just a few days, your body starts craving the real taste of food and rejecting artificial flavors.
This is a drink that doesn't promise magic, but it delivers results. With daily use for 4 to 6 weeks, it can impact cholesterol, appetite, digestion, and even sleep. It's simple, accessible, effective, like everything you teach us.
At 93 years old, I can say this: it's not the extraordinary that sustains health, it's the simple done consistently. This drink reflects that. 1 glass a day, and the body responds.
Throughout this episode, Dr. Tanaka has shown us that true health is built with simple, applicable, and sustainable habits. And now that you know the classic formula of the drink, he's also sharing some official variations created to adapt the recipe to personal taste, routine, and even specific goals.
Exactly. It's not about changing the principles, but adjusting the experience. For example, for those who prefer a lighter taste, I recommend the citrus green version. 300 milliliters of water, 1 teaspoon of psyllium, juice of half a lemon, zest from the peel, and some fresh mint leaves. Blend everything with ice. It's refreshing and digestive.
And then there's the nighttime version, for those who want more satiety or prefer to drink it as their last meal. This mix has cocoa and becomes almost a healthy shake, and the best part, no sugar. Could you detail this version?
Of course. This version uses 250 milliliters of oat or almond milk, 1 tablespoon of oats, 1 teaspoon of 100% cocoa powder, 1/4 of an avocado, and a pinch of cinnamon. Blend well, heat it lightly if you want, and drink it an hour before bed. It helps reduce nighttime cravings and calms the body.
And now that the audience knows all these versions, the question is, what's the best time to drink it? Should it be on an empty stomach before meals, or does it depend on a person's routine?
Ideally, 30 to 60 minutes before the main meal or as breakfast. That prepares metabolism, reduces absorption of bad fats, and helps control appetite. Use should be regular, 5 to 6 times a week. That's what guarantees results in the medium and long term.
So to sum up, you can choose the version that best fits your taste and routine, follow the usage plan Dr. Tanaka recommends, and observe how your body responds. The key, as he always says, is consistency and listening to your own body.
Yes, no formula works without commitment. But if you apply what you've learned here, with consistency and care, your tests change, your body changes, and your relationship with health changes too. That's the path I follow every day.
And with those inspiring words, we wrap up our conversation with the incredible Dr. Haruki Tanaka. But the episode isn't over yet. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you other food options that also help, and a lot, in fighting high cholesterol. Number 18. Sardines. The conversation with Dr. Tanaka was truly eye-opening. Every time he shares a tip, I know it's worth listening to. And this time, his recommendation about foods that help fight high cholesterol was spot on. And we start with a true treasure of the sea, sardines. Often underestimated, this little powerhouse is rich in omega-3, especially in the forms EPA and DHA, which are essential for reducing triglyceride levels and fighting oxidized LDL, that form of cholesterol which, on top of being high, is also inflammatory and dangerous for the arteries. Did you know that the EPA and DHA found in sardines act like cleaners in our arteries? They help reduce inflammatory processes and stabilize fatty plaques, effectively protecting the cardiovascular system. And the good news is that sardines are affordable, easy to find, and incredibly versatile in the kitchen. A powerful food that can easily be on your plate several times a week without much effort. But here's the catch: preparation makes all the difference. The ideal is to eat sardines 2 to 3 times a week, preferably those packed in water or olive oil. And here's a little secret revealed by Dr. Tanaka himself. By squeezing fresh lemon over sardines right before serving, you enhance their benefits even more, since vitamin C from the lemon boosts nutrient absorption and reduces oxidation in the body. Another positive point is practicality. Canned sardines, for example, are a quick and nutritious option that can be used in salads, spreads, fillings, or even as a side to main dishes. For those looking for convenience without giving up health, this is an excellent choice. With just a little creativity, sardines can turn into a complete meal. Beyond omega-3 fatty acids, sardines also provide high-quality protein, calcium, when eaten with the bones, vitamin D, and selenium, all essential for keeping the heart, bones, and immune system in check. In other words, this is a truly functional food, one that delivers health in every bite. Have you ever thought about how something so simple could have such immense nutritional value? Number 17. Salmon. Dr. Tanaka never fails to surprise me with the simplicity with which he turns foods into natural remedies. After we talk about sardines, he made sure to highlight another fish that deserves a place of honor on the plate of anyone who wants to control cholesterol: salmon. And it's not just because of the famous omega-3. This noble fish is a true combination of powerful nutrients, including astaxanthin, a strong antioxidant that protects the body's cells against damage caused by free radicals. Of course, the omega-3 in salmon, EPA and DHA, remains the big differentiator. These healthy fats are essential for heart health because they help lower triglycerides, reduce inflammation, and improve the blood's cholesterol profile. But what makes salmon even more special is the astaxanthin, which works in synergy with omega-3, amplifying its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. A true shield for the arteries. Including salmon in your diet is a strategic choice. Just once or twice a week is enough to reap the benefits. The best way is to grill or bake it with minimal added fat. And here's a practical tip from Dr. Tanaka: avoid frying and ready-made sauces. They cancel out the positive effects and overload the liver and cardiovascular system. A squeeze of lemon, fresh herbs, and a drizzle of olive oil are more than enough to highlight its flavor while keeping it light. Many people think salmon is difficult to prepare, but that's just a myth. With just a few ingredients and less than 20 minutes, you can have a complete, highly nutritious meal. Plus, it pairs well with steamed vegetables, brown rice, or even a dark leafy salad, everything that strengthens the protective action against high cholesterol. Another interesting point: salmon also provides good amounts of vitamin D and high-quality protein. These nutrients are key for muscle, bone, and metabolic health, especially in people over 50 who need stronger nutritional support. It's a complete functional food, working on multiple fronts in the body. Number 16. Walnuts. Nature is wise, Dr. Tanaka often says, and it was exactly that phrase he used when we began talking about walnuts. And it makes perfect sense. Small, crunchy, and delicious, walnuts are truly a gift for anyone needing to control cholesterol. Among plant-based foods, they're one of the best sources of omega-3 in the form of ALA, a fatty acid with powerful anti-inflammatory and heart-protective effects. And the best part, they come with polyphenol, antioxidant compounds that shield cells from premature aging. The ALA in walnuts helps lower LDL cholesterol and, most importantly, prevents its oxidation, which is the critical step in the formation of fatty plaques in the arteries. When LDL oxidizes, it becomes extremely aggressive to the endothelium, the inner lining of blood vessels. But with regular walnut consumption, this oxidation drops significantly. It's like placing an invisible shield over your cardiovascular system. Dr. Tanaka's recommendation is simple and practical. 1 handful of walnuts a day, about 20 to 30 grams. This small amount is enough to provide all the benefits without going overboard on calories, since walnuts are energy-dense. And remember, eat them raw or lightly toasted without salt or sugar. Caramelized or chocolate-covered versions lose much of their benefits and add harmful ingredients. And don't think walnuts are only for snacks. They can be added to salads, yogurts, morning oats, or even sprinkled as a crunchy topping on savory dishes. The versatility of walnuts makes it easier to include them daily, which is crucial for consistent, long-term benefits. With a bit of creativity, this small nut can become a go-to ingredient in your diet. Beyond cholesterol benefits, walnuts also support brain health, memory, and even mood, something Dr. Tanaka never fails to point out. After all, a healthy heart and an active mind go hand in hand. And as we age, those connections become even more important. Eating well is a way to keep both body and brain in harmony. Number 15. Pistachios. Dr. Tanaka has a rare talent for shining light on foods that, despite being delicious, are often overlooked as health allies. And that's exactly what happened when he mentioned pistachios. People think it's just a tasty snack, but they have no idea how good it can be for the heart, he said with that calm, confident tone of his. And he's absolutely right. Pistachios are a small jewel of nature, rich in phytosterols, compounds that help balance cholesterol levels, especially by raising HDL, the so-called good cholesterol. The phytosterols in pistachios compete with cholesterol in the gut, reducing the amount of LDL that makes it into the bloodstream. But the benefits go further. Pistachios are also rich in antioxidants and healthy fats, which protect blood vessels and improve the health of the endothelium, that all-important inner layer of the arteries. The result? Better circulation, less inflammation, and more protection against cardiovascular disease. To take full advantage of these benefits, the ideal amount is 25 to 30 grams of pistachios per day, roughly 1 handful. Dr. Tanaka recommends choosing unsalted pistachios with shells. And you know why? Eating them with shells slows down consumption, increases satiety, and helps prevent overeating. It may seem like a small detail, but in practice, it makes all the difference. Eating slowly is also an act of self-care, improving digestion and hunger control. Another incredible advantage of pistachios is their satiating power. Thanks to their fiber and healthy fats, they help regulate appetite, which is key for anyone trying to manage their weight or avoid harmful snacking between meals. A portion in the mid-afternoon, for example, can stabilize energy levels and prevent intense hunger at dinner. And of course, the flavor of pistachios is a highlight. They can be eaten plain as a snack or added to salads, yogurts, sauces, and even healthy desserts. Their slightly sweet taste and crunchy texture make them a pleasure to eat, proof that it's possible to combine pleasure and functionality in a single food. Number 14. Brazil nut. During our conversation, Dr. Tanaka emphasized that taking care of cholesterol is more than just choosing foods with good fats. It is also about making sure the body is well protected against the damage of oxidation. And that was when he highlighted one of the richest foods in selenium that exists, the Brazil nut. Just 1 or 2 units per day are enough to provide a powerful dose of this essential mineral, which is responsible for activating one of the body's main antioxidant defenses, glutathione. Glutathione acts as a true cellular shield. It neutralizes free radicals, reduces inflammation, and protects the liver, which is the central organ in cholesterol metabolism. In other words, consuming Brazil nuts is like strengthening the backstage of the body, ensuring that everything works in the most efficient way possible. Dr. Tanaka was emphatic in saying that selenium is a nutrient often neglected, but that makes all the difference for those who want to live longer and better. The correct dosage is also something important. More is not better, the doctor warned. Because it is an extremely concentrated source of selenium, the ideal consumption of Brazil nuts should be just 1 or 2 units per day. This small care prevents the risk of excess, which can be harmful to health. But within the right dose, the effects are remarkable. Improvement in immunity, thyroid function, and cardiovascular health as a whole. In addition, Brazil nuts bring good fats and fibers, which contribute to the control of LDL cholesterol and promote satiety. This means they can be used as a snack between meals or as a complement to salads, yogurts, and even hot dishes. Their crunchy texture and strong flavor make them a practical, tasty, and extremely nutritious option. Another interesting point mentioned by Dr. Tanaka is the role of Brazil nuts in mental health. Selenium is also related to the prevention of depression and anxiety, as it acts directly in regulating inflammatory processes in the brain. In other words, by consuming this nut, you are not only taking care of your heart, but also of your mind. Number 13. Peanuts. Sometimes the secret lies in the simple and accessible things, said Dr. Tanaka as we talk about peanuts. And he was absolutely right. For a long time, peanuts were seen only as a caloric and not very healthy snack. But with the right perspective and the correct preparation, they reveal themselves as a true ally in fighting high cholesterol. Rich in niacin, resveratrol, and good fats, peanuts have a positive impact on the lipid profile and on heart health. Niacin, also known as vitamin B3, has the ability to raise HDL levels, the good cholesterol, while lowering LDL and triglycerides. Resveratrol, the same famous antioxidant found in red wine, acts by protecting blood vessels against inflammation and helping to keep the endothelium healthy. This combination makes peanuts a functional food, capable of directly contributing to cholesterol balance. But it is necessary to pay attention to the form of consumption. Dr. Tanaka recommends using natural or roasted peanuts, without salt, and even better, in the form of 100% peanut butter, with no added sugar, vegetable oils, or preservatives. 1 tablespoon per day is enough to get its benefits, whether on top of whole grain toast, mixed with fruits, or incorporated into healthy recipes. Another important point is portion control. Although nutritious, peanuts are quite caloric. That is why the secret lies in balance. A small portion already provides energy, satiety, and antioxidant support. And this characteristic makes peanuts a great ally for in-between meals, helping to avoid hunger spikes and reducing the consumption of processed foods throughout the day. In addition, because they are rich in monounsaturated fats, peanuts support artery health, improve circulation, and also contribute to blood sugar control, a fundamental aspect for those dealing with high cholesterol and cardiovascular risk. And we cannot forget the presence of fibers, which also act in controlling the absorption of fats and sugars in the body. Number 12. Sesame seeds. Dr. Tanaka always points out that the greatest nutritional treasures are often in the smallest portions. And few things exemplify this so well as sesame seeds. Small, discreet, and often used only to decorate bread or salads, they carry a surprising nutritional density, especially because of lignans, particularly sesamin, a compound that directly supports fat metabolism in the body. Sesamin has antioxidant action and regulates liver enzymes involved in cholesterol processing. This means that it helps the liver work better, facilitating the elimination of excess LDL and contributing to the increase of HDL. In other words, consuming sesame does not only positively impact cholesterol levels, but also acts at the root of the problem, the metabolic balance of fats. Dr. Tanaka highlighted that this is a point often forgotten, but fundamental for a healthy heart. The ideal consumption, according to him, is 1 tablespoon per day. It may seem small, but it is enough to feel the effects over time. And the form of use is incredibly practical. You can sprinkle sesame over salads, vegetables, rice, soups, yogurts, or even incorporate it into homemade bread dough. The important thing is to maintain frequency. Small daily doses have a much more significant impact than large occasional quantities. Another distinguishing factor of sesame is its content of calcium, magnesium, and zinc, essential minerals for the health of bones, the immune system, and, of course, the heart. These nutrients support muscle function and blood pressure regulation, which goes hand in hand with good cardiovascular health. In other words, sesame goes far beyond cholesterol. It contributes to the balance of the body as a whole. And there is also the version of tahini, a paste made only with ground sesame seeds. Tahini can be used as a dressing for salads, as a base for spreads, or even as an ingredient in functional desserts. It is a delicious way to vary its use and keep the diet interesting without losing the benefits. Number 11. Pumpkin seeds. If you want to protect your heart and your blood vessels, pay attention to seeds, said Dr. Tanaka, pointing to a small jar of pumpkin seeds during our conversation. And that was when he revealed yet another nutritional secret. These seeds, which are often discarded in the kitchen, are rich in zinc and antioxidants that make all the difference for those struggling against high cholesterol. a simple food, but with a direct impact on vascular health. Zinc is an essential mineral for the regulation of inflammatory processes in the body, and this includes the blood vessels. When there is a deficiency of this nutrient, the risk of artery injury and fat plaque buildup increases. In addition, pumpkin seeds also provide good amounts of magnesium, iron, omega-6, and antioxidant compounds such as vitamin E, all with an active role in cardiovascular protection. A true complete package in every spoonful. The ideal use recommended by Dr. Tanaka is 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. And how to use them? Simple. Add these seeds to salads, soups, yogurts, pancakes, rice, or even as a snack between meals. They are crunchy, tasty, and versatile. And if you want to go further, you can lightly toast the seeds at home without salt to enhance the flavor and keep all the nutrients intact. Another important point is the role of these seeds in metabolic health. They help balance blood sugar levels, reduce oxidative stress, and improve liver function, which is the main organ responsible for cholesterol processing. In other words, by consuming pumpkin seeds, you act on several fronts at the same time. You reduce inflammation, strengthen the vessels, and improve fat metabolism. And does not stop there. Because they are rich in good fats and proteins, pumpkin seeds also contribute to satiety. This means less compulsion for ultra-processed foods and greater appetite control, factors that directly influence the maintenance of a healthy lipid profile. A real snack, one that nourishes and protects at the same time. Number 10. Barley. In the middle of our conversation, Dr. Tanaka commented enthusiastically, "If people knew the power that barley has over cholesterol, it would be on everyone's plate." And he is absolutely right. Barley is an ancient grain, often forgotten in modern kitchens, but extremely effective when it comes to cardiovascular health. Its main weapon: beta-glucans, soluble fibers that have been scientifically proven to reduce LDL levels, the so-called bad cholesterol, in a natural and consistent way. Beta-glucans work like a kind of sponge inside the intestine. They bind to cholesterol and prevent it from being absorbed by the body, ensuring that it is eliminated through the stool. With regular consumption of barley, this effect builds up over time, and cholesterol levels begin to drop steadily. According to Dr. Tanaka, it is not an exaggeration to say that barley can act as a kind of functional medication, but without the side effects of traditional drugs. And the best part, it can easily be incorporated into daily meals. The recommendation is to replace part of white rice with cooked barley at least a few times per week. Its flavor is mild, its texture pleasant, and when combined with vegetables, herbs, and olive oil, it becomes a delicious and highly nutritious side dish. You can also use it in soups, salads, or one-pot meals, creating new possibilities in the kitchen without complication. But barley's benefits go beyond cholesterol. It also helps control blood sugar levels, improves intestinal transit, and prolongs satiety. This means fewer blood sugar spikes, less desire to snack outside of meals, and greater metabolic balance. For those who not only want to lower cholesterol but also maintain a healthy weight, barley is a valuable tool. Another important highlight is its effect on gut microbiota. Barley fibers feed the beneficial bacteria in the intestine, encouraging the production of short-chain fatty acids, substances that reduce systemic inflammation and protect the arteries. Dr. Tanaka often says that a healthy gut is the starting point for a healthy heart. And in this context, barley is a truly exemplary ally. Number 9. Quinoa. Dr. Tanaka does not hide his admiration for foods that deliver multiple benefits in small portions. And quinoa is one of his favorites in this regard. "It's not just good for cholesterol, it's good for the entire body," he said with conviction. And it only takes a brief look at this grain to understand why. Quinoa is a complete source of plant-based protein, rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals that directly support cardiovascular health and metabolic balance. The main highlight of quinoa lies in its unique composition. It contains all 9 essential amino acids, something rare among plant-based foods. This means it provides high-quality protein, fundamental for maintaining lean muscle mass and ensuring metabolic balance. Along with these proteins, quinoa also brings soluble fibers that help lower LDL cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar levels, 2 essential pillars of heart health. Dr. Tanaka's recommendation is simple: from half to 1 cup of cooked quinoa per day, preferably at lunch or dinner. It can be used as a substitute for rice, as a base for salads, or mixed with vegetables and herbs to make hearty one-pot meals. Its soft texture and neutral flavor make quinoa extremely versatile, pleasing different palates and making it easier to include in the diet. In addition to its direct impact on cholesterol, quinoa also helps regulate blood sugar and prolongs satiety. This is fundamental for avoiding unnecessary snacking and excessive calorie consumption throughout the day. As if that were not enough, quinoa also provides magnesium, iron, zinc, and antioxidants, all essential nutrients for strengthening the cardiovascular and immune systems. Another important point is quinoa's role in preventing inflammation. Being naturally rich in anti-inflammatory compounds, it helps protect the blood vessel walls and reduces the risk of atherosclerotic plaque formation. Dr. Tanaka often says, "A body in balance is a body that protects itself." And in this respect, quinoa provides valuable support. Including quinoa in your routine is easier than it seems. Cooked in just a few minutes, it adapts well to a wide range of recipes and dietary styles. Whether you are vegetarian, flexitarian, or simply someone seeking better health, this grain can fit right onto your plate with flavor, practicality, and efficiency. And according to Dr. Tanaka, that is exactly what modern nutrition should deliver: simplicity with results. Number 8. Black beans. During our talk, Dr. Tanaka made a point of stressing that we don't need to chase exotic foods to take care of the heart. Often, what truly works is already on our plates. And that is how we arrived at black beans, a dietary staple in many cultures, but one that hides enormous potential when it comes to controlling cholesterol and improving cardiovascular health as a whole. Black beans are extremely rich in soluble fiber, especially the type that forms a gel in the intestine and helps trap cholesterol, preventing it from being absorbed. This process promotes the elimination of LDL through digestion, keeping it from reaching the bloodstream. In addition, black beans are an excellent source of polyphenol, antioxidant compounds that fight inflammation and protect blood vessels from plaque buildup. The ideal intake, according to Dr. Tanaka, is just half a cup per day. There is no need for more than that. It can be part of lunch, dinner, or even the base for soups and spreads. What matters most is consistency. He always emphasizes, it's not how much you eat, it's how much you keep the habit that transforms your health. And with black beans, their versatility makes maintaining the habit effortless. Another notable benefit of black beans is their ability to stabilize blood sugar after meals. This means fewer spikes in blood glucose and, consequently, a lower risk of insulin resistance, a condition directly linked to the buildup of bad cholesterol. Furthermore, the satiety provided by their fiber and protein helps control appetite, reducing the risk of overeating. Beans are also an important source of iron, magnesium, folate, and potassium, all essential nutrients for circulatory health. They support blood cell production, help regulate blood pressure, and prevent anemia, a condition that can affect blood quality and oxygen transport efficiency in the body. So if you already eat black beans, know that you are on the right track. And if you haven't included them regularly in your diet yet, perhaps this is the perfect time to start. In Dr. Tanaka's words, never underestimate the power of a traditional food. Black beans are medicine in the form of food, accessible, nutritious, and functional. Number 7. Chickpeas. When we talk about foods that care for the body as a whole, chickpeas always appear among Dr. Tanaka's favorites. They are one of the most underestimated foods that exist, he commented. And he is right. Behind their simple appearance, chickpeas carry a powerful combination of fiber, protein, B vitamins, and an essential amino acid called tryptophan, all of which have a direct impact on cardiovascular health and cholesterol control. The soluble fiber found in chickpeas acts in much the same way as that in black beans. It forms a viscous substance in the intestine that helps trap cholesterol and prevent its absorption. This lowers LDL levels and promotes the elimination of excess fat through the digestive system. The effect is even more powerful when consumption is regular, as Dr. Tanaka emphasized. Eating well only once in a while doesn't work. It's repetition that heals. But chickpeas go beyond fiber. The tryptophan they contain is a precursor to serotonin, a neurotransmitter associated with well-being and appetite regulation. This means that eating chickpeas helps regulate mood and reduces the constant urge to snack, a common behavior among people with blood sugar imbalances and high cholesterol. In this case, eating well also means living better emotionally. The ideal intake is about half a cup of chickpeas per day, preferably in light preparations such as salads, spreads, like the famous hummus, or mixed with vegetables for lunch. Their neutral flavor and firm texture make them an easy ingredient to incorporate into different recipes. And according to Dr. Tanaka, this is an important point. The simpler a food is to use daily, the greater the chances of keeping it in your routine. Chickpeas also provide manganese, magnesium, and folate, nutrients essential for nervous system function and cellular metabolism. These elements work together to reduce inflammation, improve liver enzyme function, and support hormonal balance, all of which directly affect heart health. Finally, it is worth remembering that chickpeas are an excellent alternative for those looking to follow a more plant-based diet. They provide a significant amount of plant protein, ideal for replacing or reducing meat consumption without sacrificing nutrition. As Dr. Tanaka always says, the key lies in balance. And chickpeas are one of the best foods to find that balance. Number 6. Lentils. If I could put one food on every table in the world, it would be lentils. That was how Dr. Tanaka began his remarks about this ancient grain, as nutritious as it is practical. And it is not hard to understand why he has so much admiration for it. Lentils combine a rare set of nutrients, low glycemic index, high content of soluble fiber, iron, magnesium, and antioxidant polyphenol, all in a single food. And the best part, they have a direct impact on reducing cholesterol and supporting heart health. The first point worth highlighting is their ability to keep blood glucose levels stable. Unlike other carbohydrates, lentils release energy slowly, which avoids blood sugar spikes and consequently reduces the risk of oxidized cholesterol forming, the most dangerous type of LDL. This glycemic control also helps to decrease appetite and prevent overeating throughout the day. The soluble fiber in lentils is especially effective in capturing cholesterol in the intestine and aiding in its elimination. This progressively and safely reduces LDL levels. According to Dr. Tanaka, just half a cup of lentils at lunch or dinner is enough to bring consistent benefits. And what's most interesting is how versatile they are. They can be used in cold salads, soups, sautés, or even as a substitute for rice in lighter, more functional meals. In addition, lentils are one of the best plant-based sources of iron, particularly useful for those looking to strengthen their blood health without relying on red meat. This iron, together with magnesium and polyphenol, helps protect the circulatory system and prevent anemia and fatigue. A well-oxygenated body is also a body that functions more efficiently in terms of regeneration and cholesterol balance. Another relevant point is practicality. Lentils cook quickly, don't require long hours of preparation, and can be made in large batches to make healthy eating easier throughout the week. This eliminates the excuse of not having enough time and makes it easier to maintain a balanced diet even in the hustle of everyday life, an argument Dr. Tanaka loves to dismantle with simple solutions like this. Finally, lentils are affordable, tasty, and extremely versatile. They adapt to any type of cuisine, pair well with a variety of seasonings, and provide a pleasant texture that appeals to both adults and children. It's no exaggeration to say that by including lentils in your diet, you are making one of the best possible investments in your cardiovascular health. Number 5. Eggplant. When it comes to cholesterol, eggplant deserves much more attention than it gets, said Dr. Tanaka with his usual calmness. And rightly so. Few foods are able to combine benefits for the digestive, vascular, and metabolic systems so effectively at the same time. Rich in soluble fibers, especially pectins, and antioxidants such as nazenin, eggplant is a powerful ally in controlling cholesterol and protecting the arteries. Pectin is a fiber that acts like a sponge in the intestine, binding to cholesterol and preventing it from being reabsorbed. This facilitates its elimination and progressively reduces LDL levels. In addition, nazenin, a purple pigment found in eggplant skin, helps protect cells against oxidative stress, including the walls of blood vessels. This antioxidant action is essential to prevent inflammation and preserve arterial elasticity. According to Dr. Tanaka, the ideal is to consume eggplant 3 to 4 times a week, preferably roasted or grilled. Avoid fried versions, which lose most of the benefits and end up overloading the body with harmful fats. A simple preparation with olive oil, garlic, and herbs turns eggplant into a tasty and functional dish, perfect as a side or part of warm salads. Another important point is eggplant's effect on satiety. Because it is rich in fiber and has low calorie density, it helps prolong the feeling of fullness, reducing appetite and preventing overeating. This contributes to weight control, which is one of the most important factors in preventing cardiovascular disease. As Dr. Tanaka always reminds us, taking care of your weight is taking care of your heart. In addition, eggplant also supports liver function and blood sugar regulation, further expanding its role as a functional food. The liver is one of the most important organs in cholesterol metabolism, and when it works well, the entire lipid system benefits. This makes eggplant a strategic choice for those seeking lasting results. Therefore, if you still underestimate eggplant, it may be time to reconsider. It is much more than a vegetable with a peculiar texture. It is an essential component of an intelligent, effective, and protective diet. As Dr. Tanaka says, eggplant is humble but powerful. And those who truly understand health know that the biggest results come from simple choices made consistently. Number 4. Artichoke. If there's one food that works directly at the root of high cholesterol, it's the artichoke. With that statement, Dr. Tanaka introduced one of nature's most functional vegetables. Artichoke not only helps in the digestion of fats, but also supports the liver, the key organ in cholesterol metabolism. Rich in inulin and cynurin, it is an ally that deserves special attention from anyone seeking to regulate blood fat levels naturally and effectively. Cynurin stimulates bile production and flow, an essential substance for fat digestion and cholesterol elimination. Inulin, a type of prebiotic fiber, feeds the beneficial bacteria in the gut, improving the microbiota and, consequently, strengthening metabolism. Dr. Tanaka explained that this combination makes artichoke a key player both for those who already have high cholesterol and for those looking to prevent future imbalances. The ideal consumption is once or twice a week in the form of cooked or steamed artichoke hearts. This preparation preserves nutrients and allows the artichoke to be paired with olive oil, herbs, and lemon, enhancing both flavor and functional potential. Avoid canned versions with excessive salt or refined vegetable oils, as these ingredients can compromise the benefits. Beyond its direct impact on cholesterol, artichoke also aids digestion, reduces bloating, and improves nutrient absorption. This translates into greater vitality, less fatigue, and a more balanced body day by day. Dr. Tanaka emphasizes that cholesterol-related symptoms are often not visible, but the body feels them, and artichoke acts in a preventive and restorative way. Another highlight is cynurin's antioxidant power, which helps protect liver cells against oxidative stress. A healthy liver is more efficient in metabolizing cholesterol, triglycerides, and toxins, contributing to a cleaner and more functional internal environment. This regenerative action of artichoke is something Dr. Tanaka often highlights in his guidance. Including artichoke in the diet can be both a flavorful and strategic experience. Its distinctive taste pairs well with both hot and cold dishes, and its presence on the plate serves as a reminder that health begins with the conscious choice of each ingredient. As Dr. Tanaka says, artichoke is a gift to the liver, and a healthy liver is the first step to a balanced heart. Number 3. Broccoli. When we talked about foods with protective action for the heart, Dr. Tanaka left no room for doubt. Broccoli is one of the most complete vegetables that exist. It fights inflammation, protects blood vessels, and also improves cholesterol metabolism. This statement is backed by an impressive combination of nutrients that make broccoli a true superfood. Rich in sulforaphane, a bioactive compound with powerful anti-inflammatory action, it directly supports vascular protection and lipid balance. Sulforaphane helps neutralize free radicals that damage artery walls, preventing the buildup of fatty plaques and promoting vascular flexibility. In addition, broccoli contains soluble fibers that help eliminate excess LDL cholesterol through the digestive tract. This dual action makes broccoli an essential food for anyone who wants to protect their heart naturally and consistently. According to Dr. Tanaka, the ideal amount is 1 cup of steamed broccoli 4 to 5 times a week. The cooking method is crucial to preserve its active compounds. Steaming for just a few minutes keeps sulforaphane intact while maintaining its crunchy texture and mild flavor. Avoid overcooking or boiling it in water, as this can drastically reduce its therapeutic effectiveness. Another important aspect is broccoli's impact on the liver, the central organ in cholesterol metabolism. The bioactive compounds in the vegetable stimulate liver enzymes responsible for detoxification and fat breakdown, which helps regulate lipid profiles. Dr. Tanaka often says that a well-functioning liver is halfway to a healthy heart, and broccoli, in this sense, is first-class reinforcement. Moreover, broccoli provides good amounts of vitamin C, folic acid, calcium, and magnesium, nutrients that help regulate blood pressure, strengthen the immune system, and prevent chronic diseases. It is a versatile food that can be used in salads, sautés, pies, or simply as a side dish. Its neutral flavor makes it easy to pair with herbs, olive oil, and lemon, a simple and tasty formula that pleases the palate while caring for health. For all these reasons, broccoli is much more than a common vegetable. It is a powerful tool in the prevention of cardiovascular disease. According to Dr. Tanaka, those who consume broccoli regularly are giving their bodies daily reinforcement for defense and regeneration. A small choice that, when repeated consistently, makes an enormous difference over time. Number 2. Kale. The power of kale lies in its simplicity and in its frequency, stated Dr. Tanaka with conviction. He always points out that it's not the most expensive or exotic foods that bring the greatest benefits. Many times, it's the most accessible ones, like kale, that guarantee true health. Rich in magnesium, carotenoids, and antioxidant compounds, kale works directly on protecting the endothelium, the inner lining of blood vessels, which is essential for a healthy cardiovascular system. Magnesium is a fundamental nutrient for relaxing the vessels and for controlling blood pressure. The carotenoids found in kale, such as lutein and zeaxanthin, have strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory action. These compounds help prevent fat from building up in the arteries, reducing the risk of atherosclerosis, one of the main causes of heart attack and stroke. Dr. Tanaka always reminds us that protecting the endothelium is the first step to avoiding serious problems in the future. The practical recommendation is to eat kale almost daily, whether raw in salads, in green juices, or quickly sautéed with olive oil. The key is not to overcook it, so its nutritional properties are preserved. A simple trick suggested by the doctor is to add a squeeze of lemon after preparation. This boosts nutrient absorption and enhances the flavor. Small details make big differences in daily eating habits. Another highlight is kale's ability to help detoxify the body. Its sulfur compounds stimulate liver enzymes that assist the liver in processing and eliminating toxins, including excess cholesterol. This means that kale doesn't just act on the arteries, but also on the very center of fat metabolism. And when the liver is working well, the entire body responds in a more balanced way. On top of that, since it's rich in fiber and low in calories, kale also promotes satiety, regulates bowel movements, and helps with weight control. These combined factors reduce systemic inflammation and help keep cholesterol under control. It's a simple leaf, but it works on multiple fronts, and that's exactly what Dr. Tanaka values in a functional food. In short, kale is one of the most complete and effective vegetables to include in your daily diet. Its frequent presence on the plate is an investment in longevity and quality of life. As Dr. Tanaka likes to say, eating kale every day is like taking a natural tonic for the heart, and the best part, it has no side effects. Number 1. Spinach. Nature is wise, and few green leaves express that better than spinach. That's how Dr. Tanaka wrapped up our conversation, highlighting the importance of ending this list with one of the most functional vegetables for cardiovascular health. Rich in natural nitrates, spinach promotes vasodilation, helps keep blood pressure at healthy levels, and supports blood flow. Key points for anyone looking to lower cholesterol and protect the heart. The nitrates in spinach are converted into nitric oxide in the body, a substance that relaxes and widens blood vessels, improving blood flow and reducing pressure. This effect not only improves circulatory performance, but also protects the endothelium from inflammatory damage and oxidative stress, the same mechanism involved in plaque buildup in the arteries. The recommended daily intake is 1 cup raw or half a cup cooked. Dr. Tanaka emphasizes that spinach can easily be included in breakfast, lunch, or dinner, in omelets, salads, green juices, or quickly sautéed with olive oil and garlic. The important thing is to vary the preparations, keeping it present in the routine, and making sure you take advantage of all its nutrients. Beyond nitrates, spinach also offers an excellent mix of iron, magnesium, folic acid, and antioxidants like lutein. These compounds work together to protect the heart, support the production of healthy red blood cells, and prevent silent inflammatory processes that compromise cholesterol balance. Dr. Tanaka reminds us that prevention starts from the inside out, and nutrition is the foundation of it all. Another interesting point is spinach's ability to adapt to different eating styles. Whether in a vegetarian, Mediterranean, or traditional diet, it always finds a place due to its versatility and the positive impact it has on the body. And more, its low caloric density makes it ideal for those who want to control weight without sacrificing satiety or nutrition. We end this journey with a food that, in essence, represents everything Dr. Tanaka stands for: functionality, simplicity, and effectiveness. Spinach, with its quiet strength, proves that heart care begins with small choices made every single day. And as he himself says, be consistent. Because health is not a miracle, it's the reflection of the decisions you make at every meal. And if you want to keep getting the best health videos, subscribe to the channel. because it exists for only one reason: to make you a healthier person with more quality of life. Helping you is my mission. In the video now showing up on your screen, I reveal the recipe for the #1 drink to clean your arteries and end poor circulation. Click on the screen and check it out.